Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time zone you're in. Welcome back to Sip and Talk. I'm Joe, and today is absolutely full of energy.
Oh, definitely. High energy today.
I'm literally tapping the microphone right now, clinking the ice in my iced Americano, just totally caffeinated and ready to go. A huge hello to all our Sip and Talkers out there.
I'm Sunny. Always great to be here.
So before we get into anything else today, I have to confess something to you.
Uh-oh. That sounds dangerous.
I know, right? I was doom scrolling through Instagram yesterday, and I saw an ad that was so incredibly manipulative, I almost pulled out my credit card just out of sheer morbid curiosity.
Okay, let me guess. Knowing your feed and our whole, tech bubble, was it some flashy new AI productivity software or maybe some self-proclaimed Silicon Valley insider claiming they got early access to TSMC's next generation chip process and they're selling the exclusive scoop?
I mean, I honestly wish it were that technical. At least that would require some actual industry knowledge, right? Like a basic understanding of supply chains.
Right, yeah. That takes effort.
Exactly. No, this ad featured an incredibly elegant woman just lounging in this massive Los Angeles mansion with a pristine infinity pool stretching out behind her.
Oh, setting the scene. The classic influencer aesthetic.
Totally. And she looks right into the camera, lowers her voice to this perfectly soothing hypnotic register, and she says, get this. She says, honey, if you're poor, anxious, or single, it's not because you aren't working hard.
Oh boy. Here we go.
It's because you haven't learned manifestation. Just vibrate at the universe's frequency, and the universe will create whatever you think of.
Oh, the absolute classic algorithmic hustle. I can already predict the punchline here. Go for it. If you swipe up and click the link, you get exclusive limited time access to let's call it a 7-day advanced universe manifestation masterclass. Am I close?
You are spot on.
And it's probably marked down from an arbitrary $99,000 to a total steal of $36,000.
Bingo, 36 grand.
Incredible.
But here's the thing that really gets me. I did a little digging into this woman's background, just out of curiosity.
Naturally.
She has absolutely 0 psychology degrees, no clinical licenses, no therapy credentials whatsoever.
Color me shocked.
Right. Her entire professional resume basically consists of taking a couple of online spirituality classes, reading a self-help book about the law of attraction, and launching a coaching business.
So she's just incredibly confident.
Exactly. Which makes me wonder who is actually giving out psychological advice these days. It completely reminds me of our mutual friend, Mickey.
Oh yeah, Mickey. How's he doing?
He's good, but he loves keeping a dream journal, right? He writes down everything. Well, the other day, someone seriously looked him in the eye and told him that a psychiatrist said recording his dreams is going to give him a mental illness.
Wait, what? Give him a mental illness? That is quite the cognitive leap.
I know. I was like, that is absolutely ridiculous.
But, it perfectly illustrates the exact agenda we are tackling on Sip and Talk today. Because this deep dive into the clickbait psychology plaguing our feeds is, well, it's an exploration of modern psychological blind spots, commercial traps, and outright mental manipulation.
Which is everywhere right now.
It really is. We are looking at a mutated gold rush version of the law of attraction and how a complete industry has been built on basically stripping context away from reality.
And that lack of context connects right back to that bizarre rumor about Mickey's dream journal. Because why on earth does the general public actually believe that writing down your dreams is going to cause a psychological breakdown? What is the origin of that panic?
It's fascinating, actually, because if you look at mainstream clinical psychology, the medical consensus highly encourages dream journaling.
Right, really, they actually tell people to do it.
Oh, absolutely. It is a widely used evidence-based tool for self-awareness. But to understand why, we kind of have to look at the architecture of sleep itself, specifically REM sleep or rapid eye movement.
Right, the deep dream state.
Exactly. When we sleep, our brains aren't just powering down like a laptop closing. They're running complex defragmentation software. One of the primary biological functions of REM sleep is to integrate our memories and process the heavy emotional baggage from our waking hours.
Okay, so it's literally like clearing the cache on your web browser so your computer doesn't crash the next day.
That is a perfect analogy. The brain is sorting through the unresolved stress, the subconscious anxiety, all those fears we ignored while we were awake.
Which we all have plenty of.
Exactly. So by writing those dreams down when you wake up, you help translate that abstract, chaotic, emotional data into concrete words. It's a form of emotional detoxification.
Which makes total sense when you frame it like that. You put it on paper so you don't have to carry that mental load around in your head while you're trying to work or just live your life.
Precisely. You're externalizing it.
But wait, if mainstream psychology encourages this, does it ever go beyond just a casual morning habit? I mean, is it actually used as a formal medical treatment?
It absolutely is. In clinical settings, there is a specific, highly effective tool called imagery rehearsal therapy, or IRT.
Imagery rehearsal therapy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is used heavily for patients dealing with PTSD, trauma, or severe nightmare disorders. And the very first step of IRT is having the patient write their terrifying nightmare down in extreme granular detail.
Hold on. They intentionally write down the thing that terrifies them the most. Doesn't that just reinforce the fear? I feel like that would make it worse.
You'd think so, but it actually does the opposite. By writing it down, you objectify the fear. It's no longer this overwhelming, abstract monster floating around in your mind. It's just words on a piece of paper.
Oh, I see. It takes the power away from it.
Exactly. And from there, the patient works with their therapist to literally rewrite the ending of the dream to be positive, or even just neutral.
Like writing a new script for a movie.
That's exactly what it is. And the next time they go to sleep, they mentally rehearse that new ending. It relies on neuroplasticity, rewiring the brain's pathways to empower the patient to take control of the narrative, which drastically reduces their suffering over time.
Wow. Okay, so the actual clinical treatment for nightmares is literally to write them down. That completely contradicts the rumor Mickey heard.
Completely.
So how did this myth that journaling makes you crazy even start?
Well, it is a classic logical fallacy. It is a complete reversal of cause and effect.
What do you mean?
People assume that the act of journaling causes the mental illness, but the reality is that high stress, trauma, or severe anxiety, those things cause both vivid, intense dreams and the desperate urge to write them down to make sense of them.
Oh, I see. Okay, let's say someone is going through a massive tech layoff, or we're looking at a brutal economic downturn.
Which is very relevant to us right now.
Yeah, exactly. So their baseline stress is through the roof. Their M cycles are broken and fragmented, which makes them remember these bizarre, highly stressful dreams. They start journaling to cope, and suddenly they read their own notebook and realize, wow, I have a lot of dark, anxious thoughts.
Exactly.
And instead of blaming the stressful life event, like the layoff, they blame the notebook.
Precisely. They think, writing this down is making me overly sensitive and sick. No, the notebook is simply acting as a mirror, reflecting the psychological stress that was already there.
That makes so much sense. It's shooting the messenger.
Exactly. Now, to be entirely fair and objective, and to explain where a tiny kernel of this rumor might have originated.
I was going to ask if there was any scenario where Mickey's friend was actually right.
There are a few. There are extreme, highly specific edge cases where a doctor will tell a patient to pause the dream journaling.
What are those edge cases?
Primarily in cases of severe schizophrenia or borderline personality disorders, where the individual already struggles significantly to differentiate between reality and hallucination.
Oh, that makes sense. If the cognitive boundary is already blurred, obsessively analyzing a surreal dream can increase the risk of losing touch with waking reality entirely.
Right. And the other major exception is intense sleep anxiety.
What does that look like?
Well, if someone is so obsessed with recording their dreams that they are waking up in a panic at 3 a.m., turning on all the bright lights, and frantically scribbling in a notebook, they are causing severe circadian rhythm disruption.
Which is going to wreck your next day.
Oh, absolutely. And that resulting sleep deprivation will absolutely worsen their emotional instability.
But those are highly specific clinical exceptions. This happens to us every day when we are scrolling through our phones.
It really does.
The media takes an extreme, highly specific medical exception, like a schizophrenia contraindication, and turns it into a universal threat for everyone. We know these headlines are clickbait. We know they lack context. But our thumbs still click them anyway.
Oh, we click them every time.
Is our brain just hardwired to look for panic?
It absolutely is. In cognitive psychology, it's known as the negativity bias.
Negativity bias.
Yeah. From an evolutionary standpoint, our brains are hardwired to prioritize danger signals over safety signals. Recognizing a predator rustling in the bushes kept our ancestors alive. Noticing a pretty sunset didn't.
Right. The human brain is just a threat detection machine.
Exactly. But the real problem today is how the modern attention economy exploits that ancient wiring.
Because panic pays the bills.
It does.
We aren't running from lions anymore. We're just doom scrolling on our couches, and the algorithms know exactly how to hijack that survival instinct.
And the entire business model of modern media relies on two mechanisms to do this: overgeneralization and decontextualization.
Break that down for me.
They strip away the scientific boundary conditions of any research. Think of it like this. Imagine scientists run a lab study on dietary risks. They feed a rat the equivalent of 500 heavily burnt, charred burgers every single day, and they observe a slight increased risk of cancer.
Which is an absurd, extreme premise. 500 burgers. Imagine the logistics of feeding a rat 500 burgers.
It would be a very large rat.
Nobody is eating that much charred meat.
Nobody. But the media takes that study, strips away the extreme preconditions, the massive dosage, the fact that it was an animal study, and publishes a headline in massive red font: "Eating burgers causes cancer. Do you still dare feed them to your kids?"
And suddenly, every parent in America is having a minor panic attack in the grocery store aisle looking at ground beef.
Yes, because of the availability heuristic.
The availability heuristic.
Yeah. When our brains are handed a simple, direct, terrifying cause and effect, like burgers equal cancer or dream journaling equals mental illness, it is highly effective at capturing our focus.
Right, because reality is incredibly complicated. Cancer is multi-causal. Mental health is deeply complex.
Exactly. But a headline that gives you one clear, tangible enemy to avoid, that ironically gives the anxious brain a false sense of control.
Oh, I get it. You think if I just don't eat this burger, or if I just throw away my dream journal, I am completely safe.
It's an illusion of safety wrapped in a panic attack.
That is perfectly said. And just like the media strips context from actual science to sell clicks, these fake Instagram gurus strip context from actual psychology to sell courses. Let's go back to that Los Angeles mansion manifestation code.
Oh, yes. Let's look at her.
She is executing the exact same playbook, isn't she?
She is running a masterclass in it. What you saw in that $36,000 ad is the commercial mutation of the New Age movement. It is the hyper-capitalist harvesting version of manifestation.
Harvesting version. That's a great way to put it.
If we look at real evidence-based psychological practices like cognitive behavioral therapy or CBT, the core teaching is that changing your distorted thoughts changes your emotional reactions.
Right.
Which then changes how you interact with the real world. You reframe your mindset, but you still have to do the objective work.
Right. So if we apply CBT to a real-world scenario, let's say I'm applying for a highly competitive engineering job.
Okay, good example.
CBT says if I stop catastrophizing and thinking I'm a failure, I will have the baseline confidence to actually polish my resume, go out, apply for the job, and nail the interview.
Yes.
But I still have to put on the suit, show up, and actually answer the technical questions.
Exactly. CBT empowers you to take action in objective reality. But the commercial manifestation hustle strips away the need for objective reality and effort entirely.
It just deletes the effort part.
Completely. It claims that your thoughts magically and directly summon material wealth out of thin air. You don't need to learn a skill or send a resume. You just vibrate higher, and the universe deposits $1 million into your checking account.
But logically, people know that isn't how the world works. Why do we fall for it? I mean, why would a rational adult drop tens of thousands of dollars on someone who has no clinical license and is basically just telling them to wish really hard?
Because these influencers utilize what's called storytelling authority. Storytelling authority.
Yeah. A clinical psychologist with a PhD might talk about statistical significance, neuroplasticity, and cognitive distortions. That is highly accurate, but it's dry. It doesn't trigger the emotional reward centers of the human brain.
Sounds like a textbook.
Exactly. But the guru on Instagram looks directly into the camera and says, I was broke, I was heartbroken, my life was a complete mess, just like yours. But then I discovered this secret frequency, and now I have an infinity pool in a mansion.
Right. That rags to riches narrative is incredibly persuasive to a public that is already drowning in anxiety. It bypasses logic and speaks directly to hope.
It's deeply emotionally resonant.
Okay, I want to play devil's advocate here for a second because I think it's important we look at this from all angles.
Please do.
To be completely fair, I have friends who have taken some of these courses, maybe not the ultra expensive ones, but manifestation retreats or mindset workshops.
Yeah, they're very popular. And some of them genuinely come back feeling more confident, couple of them actually did land a great job or finally start that small business afterward. Is the whole industry a complete scam, or is it just a really expensive high-end placebo effect?
That is a vital distinction to make, and you're touching on a very real psychological mechanism, the self-fulfilling prophecy.
It's self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yes. Believing you are destined to succeed actually does lower your cortisol levels, boost your self-esteem, and make you more proactive. If you truly believe the universe has your back, you will walk into an interview exuding confidence, and you will objectively perform better.
So it's not totally useless. The mindset shift does produce a tangible result.
The mindset shift is real, yes. But here is where this specific commercial iteration becomes toxic and incredibly predatory. It morphs into an unfalsifiable logic trap.
Unfalsifiable, meaning you can't prove it wrong.
Exactly. Think about the business model like a rigged casino game. If you buy the course and you succeed, the guru takes all the credit. They say, "See? My manifestation techniques work. My frequency is real."
But what happens if you fail? What if you spend $36,000 and you still lose your job? Or the money never comes?
Then it's entirely your fault.
Oh, of course it is.
They tell you that your vibration is too low, or that you have internal subconscious blockages that are actively repelling the wealth.
And there's the trap. It's a closed loop where the guru is absolutely never wrong, and the customer is always to blame for their own failure.
Exactly. And if we connect this to the macro level, to our society right now, look at the recent reporting from financial outlets on the explosion of the spiritual economy in our country.
The spiritual economy, yeah, that term is popping up everywhere.
We are living through a period of intense structural anxiety. When we look at our current economy, we've got inflation eating away at savings.
Oh, don't even get me started on the grocery bills.
Right. And housing markets that feel completely locked out for younger generations. And massive tech companies doing sweeping AI-driven layoffs every other quarter.
It's exhausting. People feel completely out of control. It feels like no matter how hard you grind or how many hours you work, the structural system is just stacked against you.
Precisely. And when objective reality feels that uncontrollable and traditional avenues of success feel blocked, people turn inward. They become desperate for a sense of absolute control.
So these expensive manifestation courses are selling the ultimate comforting lie. They're basically saying the economy doesn't matter, interest rates don't matter, corporate layoffs don't matter, only your thoughts matter.
Which sounds incredibly empowering at first glance.
It does, but it quickly devolves into victim blaming.
It absolutely does.
It cruelly ignores systemic issues, it ignores genetics, it ignores sudden economic downturns, and it completely ignores the fact that sometimes terrible things just happen to good people.
It is the absolute darkest side of toxic positivity. It looks at someone struggling and tells them they are poor because they have a poverty mindset.
Which is just insulting.
Or worse, it tells people they are physically sick because their internal energy is toxic. Oh, that makes me so angry.
When you have unqualified internet gurus telling individuals with severe clinical depression or chronic illnesses to stop taking their prescribed medication and just manifest their health back, it stops being a harmless, expensive placebo. It crosses a very bright line into dangerous medical and financial exploitation.
It is wild when you lay out the mechanics of it like that. If someone calls you up and asks for 20 grand to fix your low frequency, you should honestly just hang up the phone, walk away, and go eat a burger to clear your head.
And maybe stick to just one burger, not 500 burnt ones.
Fair point. We don't want to skew the statistics.
Exactly. But navigating all this, the clickbait, the panic, the false promises, it really comes down to a concept I like to call information dosimetry.
Information dosimetry. So evaluating the dose of the information we consume, what does that actually look like in practice for us when we're scrolling online? It means that when we see a wild, sweeping headline, whether it's an article screaming that dream journals cause insanity or an influencer promising that happy thoughts will buy you a mansion, we shouldn't just ask the basic binary question, is this true or false?
Because it's rarely a simple yes or no.
Exactly. Instead, we must pause and ask, what are the extreme preconditions for this claim?
So it's basically like reading the warning label on a prescription bottle. Yeah. You don't just throw away the pills immediately, but you check the fine print to see if you are the specific type of person who shouldn't take them.
That's a great way to look at it.
Like, is dream journaling bad? No, unless the precondition is severe, diagnosed schizophrenia.
Right.
Do positive thoughts help you succeed? Yes, absolutely. Unless the precondition is replacing actual medical treatment with a $36,000 online video course.
Finding those hidden boundary conditions is our best intellectual defense mechanism against the attention economy. It allows us to consume information, stay informed, and engage with the world without being entirely consumed by manufactured panic.
That is such a powerful, practical tool to keep in our back pockets. I just want to warmly remind everyone listening, our goal with today's chat isn't to discriminate against or bash any specific group, belief system, or anyone who finds genuine comfort in spirituality.
Not at all.
We're simply taking an objective look at the facts and the psychological mechanisms at play to encourage independent critical thinking in a very, very noisy world. And of course, a quick reminder that absolutely nothing we discuss today constitutes financial or medical advice.
Yes, please. Always talk to a licensed professional for your specific situation.
Exactly.
In an era of algorithmic manipulation, critical thinking really is the only way to protect both your mental health and your wallet.
It truly is. So Sip&Talk, we wanted to leave you with a lingering, provocative question to chew on today.
Let's hear it.
Given everything we've unpacked, the algorithmic panic, the intense economic stress, the overwhelming nature of modern life, are we so exhausted by the complexities of the real world that we are willing to pay a premium just to be told a comforting lie?
It's a tough, uncomfortable question, but an essential one to sit with.
Definitely something worth exploring in a journal. Just, maybe don't wake up at 3 a.m. in a cold sweat to do it.
Keep the lights off.
Exactly. Thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive into the clickbait psychology of our feeds. Be sure to hit that subscribe button for the Sip&Talk podcast so you never miss out.
And hey, while you're at it, don't forget to check out our mutual friend Mickey's newest travel vlogs on his YouTube channel, Mickey to Life.
Yes, he's doing some amazing stuff over there. Have a fantastic week, stay grounded, and we will see you next time. Goodbye.